In the event that only one B-17 arrived home, on the 10th of October 1943, it is a frigid morning. Today's briefing is attended by 60 pilots and navigators from the 100th Bomb Group, including pilot Robert Rosie Rosenthal, Winifred Pappy Lewis, his co-pilot, and Ronald Bailey, his navigator, are among them. Okay, let's conclude this matter. Munster is your objective for the day, light. Until now, our objectives have been factories. However, this is not the case this time. The Old Town Cathedral is the current focal point. The meeting room was filled with stunned expressions and murmurs. Lewis and Bailey exchange a glance of bewilderment. Yes, Major. John Egan, the commander of the 100th Bomb Group, is seen cheering the news from the front. Several of the men, including Egan, have lost close companions during previous missions. Some of the men regard such a mission as justifiable revenge due to the anguish they have experienced as a result of their loss. The fuel and lubricant pressures are satisfactory. Munster is home to a significant number of railway personnel. They are indispensable to the German war effort. We will arrive promptly for the Sunday Mass. I am uncertain about my emotions regarding this matter. Pappy, you are aware that it is our obligation. Come on.
Maintain formation. Over.
The 100th Bomb Group's B-17 seconds ascend into the air one by one. The Royal Flush occupies the rearmost position in the formation. A position that is particularly exposed and hazardous is well known to all aboard. However, dwelling on it is detrimental to everyone. However, there will be no milk delivery. According to intelligence reports, there are more than 500 combatants who are prepared to intercept us as we travel. Additionally, anticipate receiving an exceptionally significant amount of flak over the target. You will be assigned to a 274 bomber formation. The group's commanding pilot will be Major Egan. I will proceed. And the control of power returning to the base. Another one is left Egan. Radio, please include that in the record. Another one has been returned. Lucky SOVs. 216 P-47 Thunderbolt escorts will be provided to alleviate the burden on your attack. They will eventually reach you over Holland and ensure your safety throughout the duration of the mission. Over Holland and into Germany, the Armada soars. Now they are without a doubt and in absolute control of enemy territory. Where are our fighters, gunners? Are you able to detect any Allied combatants in the distance? Unfavorable. There is nothing on R6. Nothing. The left midriff is unobstructed. They are not forthcoming, are they? If they were present, they would have already arrived. Perhaps they are tardy and will eventually make up for it.
All flights are grounded until further notice.
However, the personnel are unaware that they are not only tardy, there are no combatants. Their absence renders the bombers even more vulnerable as the weather conditions at their bases prevented them from taking off. However, they are compelled to continue regardless of whether they are escorted. As they progress deeper into enemy territory, they receive an increasing number of reports of attacks. A few B-17 seconds were claimed by isolated parties of fighters who launched attacks further up the formation. Be vigilant all. Pilots, are you aware of this? In the distance, a cloud of fighters emerges. The interceptors have arrived. Best of success. I will see you all in a few hours. Fire, demonstrate our capabilities. A swarm of me, 109 seconds, and through 190 seconds pierces the formation in a blur. The German fighters discharge their deadly 20mm guns, filling the air with tracers as the guns from the fortresses come alive. Stanley, they are on their way. A few moments later, me, 110 seconds, emerge from the rear. Bandit, it is 6 o'clock. proceed, sweeping in and launching missiles in all directions. Stanley, return to the firearms. The sky is a tangled mass of fighters and lead. While the enemy combatants are consumed by flames, the massive fortresses are absorbing shell after shell. The main B-17 of the 100th Bomb Group, Mademoiselle Zigzag, which is piloted by Major Egan, is struck by a rocket. A breach is opened on the fuselage, and 2 of their engines are lost. Damn it, damn it. We are experiencing a loss of electricity. Egan is powerless to intervene as his bomber struggles and ultimately fails to maintain pace with the formation. The divide gradually widens, thereby isolating them. We are unable to maintain our current pace. Inform our soldiers to abandon us. Our radio is no longer operational. We are without communication. The bombers directly behind the Mademoiselle Zigzag, unaware of the Mademoiselle Zigzag's predicament, also decelerate down and reduce altitude to maintain formation. This results in the bombers behind them also doing the same. It is a chain reaction that is catastrophic. They opt to remain. An additional 2 are on the way, 2 o'clock. Initially, no one is aware. They are too preoccupied with the conflict to acknowledge the expanding disparity between their formations. However, it becomes apparent in due course. We are lagging behind. For what reason? We are in peril of becoming increasingly isolated. Accelerate, leader. Are you a copycat, Egan? The pilots are confronted with an impossible decision as confusion spreads. Do they remain in the small formation with their comrades in arms, or do they leave them behind and charge for the larger one? 2 of the flying fortresses of the 100th Bomb Group make the leap, revving their engines to maximum capacity and pursuing the larger group. The 2 pilots are ensnared in the confusion at the very rear of the Royal Flush. Formation is disintegrating. We are lagging behind. There is nothing we can do. Every German will follow us if we dare to cross the divide. The isolated group of 11 B-17 seconds is swiftly identified by the Germans, who then pounce on their prey. Damage is accruing at an alarming rate. The machine gunners are utterly overwhelmed and multiple B-17 seconds are trailing smoke. The Royal Flush's members are compelled to observe as an FW-190 approaches and attacks one of their comrades on the wing. It initiates an immense inferno. Before the bomber ultimately loses control and explodes into a million pieces, their companions escape for their lives. Subsequently, a second B-17 is ignited by numerous 20mm projectiles. Dropping like insects, we are 3 minutes behind schedule. The wings and fuselage of another B-17 are torn apart by fighters as they ignite it. The pilot, intimidated by the approaching gunfire, deviates from the formation and endeavors to return to its residence independently. What is the destination of your journey? However, it exclusively draws combatants. They congregate in close proximity to it. They shred it, but they leave it in midair to emphasize the formation that is still en route to the metropolis. In the Mademoiselle Zigzag, the fighters focus on Major Egan. The fortress becomes increasingly difficult to manage as a result of the relentless attacks that destroy essential systems, one after the other. Egan realizes that they are doomed as they struggle against their poles. Evacuate this location. The crew begins to disembark, but the co-pilot remains to assist Egan in maintaining the aircraft's stability for their men. Pilot John Brady and Major Egan immediately exit the bomb compartment after they have departed. Brady, proceed as if you were a senior citizen. No, you may proceed. Subsequently, a fighter is introduced from above and commences firing. The bomb compartment entrance is now adorned with new bullet holes. Brady, I will be seeing you. Brady is the first to leap, followed by Egan. They both emerge unscathed. Rosenthal and Lewis are resisting the impulse to flee, while the gunners are fighting for their lives aboard the Royal Flush, maintaining their position as they are compelled to observe the other B-17 seconds drop one by one. However, a combatant is preparing to fire a shot from the outside.
We're hit! Left wing, check it!
He launches a series of missiles at the Royal Flush. One contacts the wing directly, causing a substantial hole and immediately incapacitating 2 engines. The German fighters retreat, completely aware of the B-17 seconds destination. A flurry of flak replaces a maelstrom of fighters. The 3 remaining bombers are the primary focus of all the guns in the city, as the remainder of the formation have already been eliminated. The remaining aircraft is shredded by the gunfire. One of them is ignited and is compelled to detonate their bombs prematurely before evacuating the flaming, soaring ruin. The bombardier is granted charge of the aircraft. The aim point is approaching at an excruciatingly sluggish pace. The second-to-last B-17 is impacted directly and explodes into a ball of flame. It gradually banks over and disintegrates as it descends. The Royal Flush is the sole remaining card. Rosenthal promptly regains control and executes maneuvers to circumvent the gunfire. They limp out of the city airspace with only 2 engines and significant damage. Numerous German aircraft emerge from the clouds. The Royal Flush's gunners are left to their own devices, but they are vulnerable. Rosenthal abandons all conventional bomber piloting techniques and engages in evasive maneuvers out of sheer desperation. When the B-17 turns in, the waist gunners maintain their grip with all their might. It is located on the left and right sides. They fire for a brief period of time before the bomber crashes into them. The 6 of the Royal Flush are approached by 4 flew 190 seconds. Sergeant Bill de Blasio, the rear gunner, discharges bursts of bullets at the second B-17 from his left as it flies across the sky. On the 3rd attempt, he scores a critical strike that causes the aircraft to crash into his wingman, causing both aircraft to be knocked out of the sky. The left wing is completely severed. He promptly transitions to the subsequent fighter, striking it on the engine and removing its canopy. De Blasio's fatal aim causes the final fighter to escape. However, the Germans are not yet finished. The bomber is followed by 6 additional aircraft. De Blasio initiates fire as the twin-engined fighters discharge their missiles. The aircraft flying around de Blasio emit trails of smoke. Fortunately, no one was struck. He retaliates by firing at one of them. The German fighter is demolished by the 50 caliber weapons which ignite it. In response, the remaining adversaries engage in fire, resulting in a hail of lead that strikes the bomber's fuselage and explodes. It is a meager solace. The engines are destroyed, and catastrophic flooding is promptly caused by 2 explosions that tear through the lower decks. The Japanese are not yet completed, but the repulse list to port appear to be complete. He alters his target as he moves across the entire formation. His rounds strike 2 of the 190 seconds, causing them to lose control and collide with one another. Shortly thereafter, the remaining German fighters who were fuel constrained were forced to retreat by mere luck. The Royal Flush remains in the air, and the heavens abruptly settle to a tranquil state. The 2 gunners are on the ground, and in agony, radio operator Michael Bacchussi abandons his post and rushes to the aircraft's waist. We are experiencing a decline in altitude. Therefore, it is imperative that we reduce our weight. Gentlemen, it is imperative that we eliminate all items that are not securely fastened. In a hurry, the crew commences their duties. They discard all unnecessary items. Ammunition, firearms, oxygen, tanks, everything. We abandoned all of our possessions. Is it sufficient? Is it sufficient, Rosie Pappy? I am uncertain.
It's too heavy.
Potentially. Mechanics and officers at Thor Abbott's observe the heavens with jittery anticipation. The appointed arrival time has already transpired. The other bomber units have already returned. However, the 100th has yet to be reported. Then a single B-17 appears low over the horizon in the distance. The Royal Flush, which is scarcely able to fly and is emitting smoke, lowers its landing gear, drifts in and lands on the runway. The assembled men observe in a state of awe as a severely damaged aircraft comes to a halt. It exits the runway and deactivates its engines. The stillness is deafening. They are the sole individuals from the 100th to return. The crew piles out onto the grass as medics rush to their assistance. There is little to no respite, and there is no celebration.
Over here, over here!
The reality of the situation begins to dawn on me. The attack was one of the most catastrophic incidents in the history of the 8th Air Force. The 100th Bomber Group was the most severely affected, garnering the moniker Bloody 100th. Of the 130 individuals aboard the aircraft that was shot down, 37 were slain and 93 were taken as prisoners of war.